I've just changed you because I put you on and you were sort of leaning back like that, so I was worried you'd feel sick. So I've just changed the camera angle. Is that better? You didn't know what I looked like before, did you? But it's not bad. So I've still got my nightie on, I'm not dressed yet. And I look like hell because my youngest got up stupid early this morning, out, but he's finally watching a little bit of Iggamogum with my second oldest. So I'm filming it now, because if I don't film it now, I'm not going to film it. So if you're new here, my name's Victoria. I'm a home educating mum of 5, hopefully soon to be 6 in the UK. I do home education, low income living, my hair's full of knots, and all that shit. Now, I'm doing a little first trimester pregnancy update with baby number 6. I'm going to keep sneezing, I do apologise. Sorry, this is going well, isn't it? Now, all this I'm about to tell you would be on Patreon in real time, because all my vlogs are now on Patreon. And it's a good job they are, really, because if I don't really want to get into it here, because if I do, it's going to take up the whole video. But it's in the community posts on my page, on my YouTube page, and it should be the last post because I hardly ever put anything on the community post. But basically, there was a court case. Somebody local around here told a load of lies about me, and there was a court case. But it tells you more on the community post, so go and look at that. Anyway, court's been over. Court was end of July, it's now November. Court's been over for months, and this woman is still obsessed with me. She's like that on my Facebook blog. You block her, she goes on gets one of her friends to go on it and screenshot everything and send it to her, and then she tells everybody, I've got all Victoria's Facebook blog screenshotted on my phone. She's probably watching this. She's tried to join my Patreon, and I have evidence of this, as a free member. So it's a good job you have to pay £3 a month to access my actual videos, or she'll be watching them as well. But anyway, so what I'm driving at is all this. People on my Patreon will already know, and they'll have seen it in real time. So what happened was, the court case was at the end of July, and I thought I might be pregnant at the court case on the court day, because my period hadn't come. But I thought, I mean, there was that little glimmer of hope in my mind, but I did genuinely think it'll be the stress. It'll be the stress of court, that's why I've not come on. But as we was waiting to go into court, I kept going to the loo and checking, and victim support I ended up telling victim support because I was acting strangely, and I was like, I don't know if I'm pregnant, it's probably stress. But it was good in a way, but because there was that tiny glimmer of hope that I might be pregnant, I thought, I have got to stay calm. I have got to stay calm for the sake of the baby, which helped me stay calm in court. One court, that woman and her cronies were out as liars. But because I'd won court, 2 days after court, remember 2 or 3 days after court, was my daughter's birthday, and a couple of people had said to me, oh, it's a double celebration, because it's your daughter's birthday and you've won court after this year of hell. We'll bring some booze to celebrate. So I thought, I mean, normally I'd have left it longer to do a test, especially with me thinking it's stress, and I'm 38 now, and things have been changing in my cycle, so I honestly thought things were coming to the end anyway, and I wouldn't get pregnant again, and I have dodgy fertility anyway, and So there was a lot of doubt about me being pregnant, but I thought I'm going to have to take a test, because the thing is, if I have a drink on my daughter's birthday, not getting drunk, but you know, we're celebrating drink. If I have a drink and I knew that I could have been pregnant and then it turns out I'm pregnant, I'll never forgive myself. So I need to do a test. It'll come out negative. I'll know for definite I'm not pregnant and I can have a drink. Anyway, I took a test. I went to the shop up here and I bought a pregnancy test, and the woman behind the counter was really rude. I don't know why. Every now and again I ban myself from going in there, and I end up going in there because it's convenient, but woman in there, she was like, would you want a pregnancy test for? You've got too many kids, you've got enough kids or something like that. You've already got too many kids. And I ended up lying and saying, oh, Marth, it's not for me. It's for a friend of mine who didn't want to be seen buying a test in case she had nasty comments. So anyway, I took this test. The line was really faint. And my husband thought it was like a pee line. And my mum was going, not sure, you know. But it was a cheap test. And I text my friend, who was also my witness in court, and I says, I want to get another test, but I'm not going in that bloody shop again. And she says, well, I'm going shopping. Do you want me to get you a clear blue one? And I says, yeah. So later on that day, I ended up going down there with my money to give her the money for it, for this thing. Anyway, the clear blue test had a faint line, but it said I was pregnant. So again, like, really cautious. All right, probably I'm pregnant, but let's be really cautious. So I had to tell the people who was bringing booze to my daughter's birthday, because I'd say, look, I'm not going to be able to drink it, so there's no point bringing it. Unless you know you want one, but I can't. I'm just telling you now, I can't. And I didn't tell my daughter anything because I didn't want it to eclipse her birthday. And then a few days later, I think I took another test and it was still dead faint. I went to the doctors because I'm high risk for ectopic pregnancy. I went to the doctors and she said, we'll refer you to the hospital for an early scan. So I have to have an early scan to check the baby's in the right place. She says, but you're probably only about 4 weeks. She says, so try and put them off to have the scan later, because if you're too early, nothing's going to show on the scan. Anyway, hospital rung me. They were like, no, we don't want to wait. We want you to come in like pretty much that week. So I went in, had the scan. There's just like a sack with nothing in it. And I'm thinking, well, it's because it's too early. And the GP had said it's too early. But they were all like giving me leaflets on pregnancy of unknown location, and it could be a miscarriage or it could be ectopic or da-da-da-da-da. They wanted me to come back the following week for a blood test to see if my pregnancy hormones were rising any. And in the meantime, I bought a load of pregnancy tests and I kept taking them, and I was watching the line get darker. So to my mind, the line was getting darker, so the pregnancy hormone was going up. But when I went for the blood test and told them I was doing that, they looked at me like I was mental, like it made no sense. But to me, that makes sense. Anyway, the blood test, they said that your pregnancy hormone's going up. And I'm thinking, well, I know that because I've done these bloody tests. They wanted me to go back for a scan. But to my mind, it was still too early. So I put it off a little bit. But I wanted to put it off longer than they'd let me. But anyway, I went back. I was about 5.5 weeks by this point, and there was a little tiny shape with a heartbeat in the right place. So that was really pleased, amazing, not ectopic. They straight away they're like your age, your weight, how many kids you've had, you need blood thinners right now. You need to be injecting yourself blood thinners in your stomach right now. Well, if anybody says this to you, you need to seek medical advice. Don't just take what I'm doing as gospel. But I thought, I know from previous pregnancies that they don't tell you the full story, because previous pregnancies they've said to me, you need to this, that and other, and I've said, well, what's the data on that? What's the percentages on that? I need to make an informed choice. What's the actual facts on that? And they can't tell you, they're just reading off the NHS sheet. And also I was thinking, why is it urgent for me to take blood thinners right now? Because if I weren't eligible for an early scan, you wouldn't have seen me till I was 12 weeks, and you wouldn't be telling me this till I was 12 weeks. I'm only like 5 weeks. So the Serenity doula on Instagram she knows the shit. And I booked, but there was nothing on her page about blood thinners, blood clots. So I contacted her. I paid £30 for a phone consultation, and she knew her shit. She told me all the data, all the facts, all the research, the pros and cons. We had a long conversation. She listened to me, which, you know, I'm not used to that from medical professionals. She listened to me, and then at the end she sent me a massive email, because there was so much information, a massive email with all the information, all the data, all the whys and wherefores for me to look at and make my own informed decision. And I decided not to take the blood thinners, to do the natural things that can prevent blood thinners, and to keep an eye out for symptoms, and if obviously I've had a symptom, go straight to the hospital. But I will be taking the blood thinners after I give birth, because it makes sense with the data after I give birth, but it doesn't put me at 5 weeks pregnant. Anyway, so I didn't take the blood thinners, and then since then I had sickness. I wasn't actually sick, but if I needed to eat, because when I'm pregnant it's when I need to eat, I've got retching and stuff, and if I have something to eat it sorts out. Certain smells and things went off gravy. I'm back on gravy now. Certain smells, certain foods set me off. I run a belly dance business, and I've tried to be careful with myself. And I did ask at the hospital like more than once, is it safe for me to belly dance while I'm pregnant? And they were like, yes, it's absolutely, if you're doing that exercise anyway and your body's used to it anyway, it's safe. But I've still been sort of, you know, a bit weary and worried about it. But the thing is, so I can go on maternity leave, I have to get so much belly dance work done. For my instructors get a new routine every month, so I'm having to film so many routines ahead so that I can have so many months off when I'm really heavy and when the baby's here. So I've been having to do it, and I haven't been enjoying it that much, because every time I dance I'm worried I've dislodged something. But I'm trying to be careful. What else? Oh yeah, the sickness has stopped now. But because this is a whole other video, but because this is my 6th baby, and apart from the first, every single child I've had a bad experience, and the last one was really bad. I'm actually quite traumatised from it, the pregnancy and the birth. All cack-handed medical professionals, and don't come at me, I know a lot of people have positive experiences, but I did not. It's really put me off going to the midwife. I've been really worried about it. So I was looking into private midwives, independent midwives, and there's no way on earth I could afford a private midwife. But then I found one, and I really liked her. I really liked her, and I messaged her just to find out prices and availability and stuff. And she said, I'm going on maternity, she says, because I'm having a baby. She says, but this is the midwife, the private independent midwife I'm using. And she sent me a link to a lady, and I really like her as well. So the package that I'm thinking of having, I'd have to book in with her when I'm 20 weeks. Well, I'm nearly 19 now. And the package would be 28 weeks till about 3 weeks after I give birth. And I'd have all my visits at home and all my care at home. And she'd listen to me and not treat me as a freak because I'm fat. And from 37 weeks, she's on 24-hour call to come and do a home birth if the home birth is safe. She'll be here for the birth, and then I think she comes and visits me every few days for the first 3 weeks. And it's £7,000. I can pay £2,000 of that, but that will wipe me out completely. And a relative of mine who knows how traumatised I am, and knows this is probably my last baby, and knows how oh, I can't even talk about the last one without crying. And it made me really ill. It gave me like a nerve damage condition I never get better from because I was so distressed. But anyway, they've had an inheritance, and they're very, very kindly offering to pay the other £5,000. I've wrestled with it a lot because I never take money off anybody. Never take money off anybody, never take anything off anybody ever. So it didn't sort of feel right. And I was also like, how can I warrant spending that kind of money on myself? And I really wrestled with it. But my friend said to me the other day, it's not just to benefit you though, is it? Because if you're traumatised and poorly and all the stress and all the things like last time, that's going to affect everybody. It's better for everybody if you have a better time this time. And then I was thinking the other day, I look prematurely older than what I am because life is so fucking hard sometimes. Why can't I do something nice for myself? And I've said to the person, like, I feel bad taking £5,000 off you, and they're like, no. You have it now, you have it when I'm dead. And I'm like, well, so I think I'm going to do it. I'm not 100% yet, but I think I'm going to do it. But in the meantime, I haven't had my 12-week scan, and I'm not down for my 20-week scan yet. It's put me off going to the midwife. I mean, last time I didn't book in with the midwife till I was about 16 weeks because I was that traumatised from what happened with the baby before. And like I said, the last baby was even worse. So I put off. Hello, Jelly. You got your plate? Okay. Yeah, anyway. My husband, I was umming and ahhing whether to go for a private scan just to check the baby's alright, even though I can feel flutterings now and the baby's gender, because I did want a surprise, but when you're on a budget it's just easier to plan if you know what they are. Well, we don't need that, but when I first wanted to go for a private scan, we couldn't have afforded it. And all the private scans, they say they're in Derby, and then you Google it, and it's not actually in bloody Derby. It's like the other side of Derby, and Derby's already like an hour and a half away without me adding them overtime on. Right. Now we're going to walk dog in a minute. Mummy's got to put some clothes on. Huh? And then we'll walk the dog. It's got a pan out. No, we've already done that, haven't we? We've already done messy play this morning when he woke up silly early. And we've already done that. I need to wrap this up now. Anyway, my husband's like, just ring the bloody midwife to get. And I went to the doctor, and because it says on the NHS website that they can refer you for a scan. So I rung the doctors. The receptionist said, oh no, we don't do that. I said, it says on the NHS website that the doctor can refer me for a scan. Oh, well, I'll book your phone appointment with the doctor. I had a phone appointment with the doctor. She went, oh no, we don't do that. I said, it says on the NHS website that you can refer me for a scan. Okay, I'll refer you for a scan. And I went into the doctor's and had my bloods and my urine done as I would have done if I'd have gone to the midwife. She referred me for a scan. I got a letter through. Hang on. So I got this letter through saying, you've been referred for a scan. We'll ring you. Don't ring us. But if you haven't heard anything by the 24th of November, ring us. So I let it roll. So I let it roll on, and then I was about 16 weeks, I think. And then I thought, 24, nobody's ringing me. And 24th of November, I'm going to be about 20 weeks pregnant. But I won't get a scan straight away. They'll like book me in for a few weeks after that. Well, I'll be like 22 weeks pregnant. Mommy. So I ended up ringing the number. Hang on. Sorry, it keeps coming in. What's the same? So I rung the number. Got a very snotty woman on the other end of the phone who just kept saying to me, no, that's an old system. That's an old system. We don't know anything about you being pregnant. We don't know anything about this letter. The only way you're going to get a scan on the NHS is if you go for a midwife. And I says, I don't want to go to the midwife yet. I says, if I have a scan, the baby's all right, the baby's here to stay, then I'll book in with a midwife probably. But I don't want to go to a midwife yet. I'm too traumatised from last time. Just book me in for a scan. She says, we'll ring you back. Anyway, somebody rung me a lot later that day. It was a different woman who was a lot nicer. And she said, she kept saying, do you want us to find you a different midwife? And I ended up telling her. And she said, look, she said, why don't you book in with the NHS midwife to get your scan and whatever else you want? She said, and then you can just switch to your private independent midwife. Nobody's going to stop you. So I thought, well, that makes sense. So I rung the doctors. We'll get the midwife to ring you on Friday. This was not last Friday, Friday before. Anyway, midwife rung. My little one answered the phone. And he's going, low, 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 down the phone. By the time I got the phone off him, it had gone off. I couldn't ring back because it's a private number. They'd said to me that she was going to ring me at least 3 times in case I missed it, in case it was at work or something. So I thought, it's obvious what's happened there, she'll ring me back. Never rung me back. So then last week I rung the doctors, explained what had happened. And they said, oh, well, we haven't actually got a midwife at the minute, so it'll be some random midwife from wherever. So that's probably why she never rung you back again. She can't ring you this Friday, we'll get her to ring you next Friday. Well, next Friday is this Friday, when I'll be 19 weeks on Friday. And it makes me really nervous that it's some random woman. So I don't know if she's a bitch or not. At least I had a rough idea of her at the GP practice. And I have to work on Friday morning, so you know damn well I'm going to miss that call. So I'm more than likely going to go for the independent private midwife. But I still don't know if I'm going to get a scan on the NHS or not. Or if I'm going to get a scan at all. So we'll just have to wait and see. But somebody said to me, the longer you leave it, booking in with the NHS midwife, the more likely they'll ring social services on you for a concealed pregnancy. And I said, 1, I could still legally have an abortion in this country. I never would, by the way, but I'm just saying. So they can't get me with that one. 2, it's not a concealed pregnancy. Sorry, it's not a concealed pregnancy because I've been to the hospital 3 times, 2 early scans and a blood test. I've also had my blood urine done with the GP. And I've been trying to get a scan from the GP. So it's not a concealed pregnancy, it's just concealed from them before they start that shit with me. Because I know that's the kind of shit they do. So we'll just see, won't we? But I am really pleased to be pregnant. And it's probably the last one because I am 38 with dodgy fertility and I'm overweight and my husband's ill and all that. So I'm trying to enjoy it, but because I'm so busy with the other kids, because I can't even do a video without pausing it every 5 minutes because Jerry keeps coming in. Because I'm so busy with the other kids, some days I don't have time to think about the fact I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant because I'm that busy. So unless I feel a flutter in my stomach, or now the sickness has stopped, unless my hips really hurt at the end of the day and I have to like sit down to dry the pots and things like that, I don't really realise I'm pregnant a lot of the time. Because I'm a big guy, my husband knows my body and he can tell I'm pregnant, and I can tell a little bit at the top that I'm pregnant, but because I'm a big gal, you can't really see I'm pregnant yet, I don't think. So when my belly gets bigger, it'll become more real. I'm just hoping that by the time my belly becomes bigger, I've finished all the work I need to do for my belly dance business. So yeah, that's my first trimester update. Sorry it's such a long video.